Hi, good morning. In this session, we are going to discuss about the software development lifecycle methodologies or models. In this, mainly two models we are going to discuss. Those are waterfall model. The second one is V model. On these two models, we are going to discuss in this session. But actually, we have the different kind of models to develop the various projects like waterfall model, prototype model, RAD model, spiral model, fish model, agile methodology. Like this, we have the various models. Okay, we'll see that one by one. Who is going to decide which model we have to use to develop the application? We have various models, okay. But who will decide which model is suitable to develop the application? In general, high-level management team along with the client will decide which model is suitable to develop the application. As a high-level management team. High-level management team means QA team, quality assurance team. The previous session we discussed about the quality assurance, quality control. The high-level management team who is going to involve here, they will decide which model is suitable to develop the application. Okay. So in general, high-level management team, that is QA team, along with client will decide which model is suitable to develop application. How the selection criteria will be, how they are going to decide. Two factors mainly they are going to consider. One is need of client and complexity of requirements. One is need of client, other one is complexity of requirements. We can adopt any one of the model to develop the applications. A need of client means two things we have to consider here. One is in terms of budget. Second one in terms of time. The other two things. Need of client means in terms of budget, in terms of time. Some client can pay the whatever amount you said by your company. Some client may not interest to pay that much amount who needs software with this cost. Similar way, some client can wait whatever time you said to develop the application, that much time to get his project. But some other client may need application short span of time. That can be happens based on that need of client and complexity of the requirements. What is the meaning of the complex or requirements? We have different scenarios like this. There can be small project with clear requirements. There can be big project with clear requirements. Or there can be initial requirements are not clear or incomplete to develop the application. Or there can be dynamic changes in the requirements, or there can be a risk in requirements. Yes, we have the requirements, but technically it is not possible to estimate a successful implementation at early stages. So the different scenarios we have. Scenario one, small project with clear requirements, big project with clear requirements. Initial requirements may be not clear or incomplete, or there can be risk in requirements, or there can be dynamic changes in the requirements. So these all the things they are going to consider. Based on that, they can adopt any one of the model to develop the application. But in general, waterfall model, prototype model, spiral model, RAD model, fish model, V model, and agile scrum methodology. These are the various kind of models are there. But here, which are more important is waterfall model, V model, and agile. These are the three things. Next recording session, next video I'm going to discuss about the agile scrum. In this session, I'm going to discuss about the waterfall model and V model. These two things I'm going to discuss here. Okay. Now, what about these models here? Prototype, RAD model, spiral model. These are the outdated models. We can say like that. Okay, fish model not at a practical model in Ameripet market. So we are going to train the fish model for easy to understand diagrammatically. But whatever we have in the V model, that only it going to describes in other fish model diagram wise. But it is not important. No company is going to follow the fish model. Okay, so we are going to discuss here in this model, waterfall model and V model. These two things which are important that we are going to discuss. In the next session, I'm going to explain to you about the Agile Scrum methodology. Okay, next, what is waterfall model? So this waterfall model, also called as linear sequential waterfall model. Waterfall model also called linear sequential waterfall model. The next point, name is derived for this model due to cascading effect from one phase to another phase. Due to cascading effect from one phase to another phase. So these two things you need to understand. Sequential waterfall model and what is meaning of cascading. Sequential means here in terms of phases. One phase activities are completed for whole system. Then we can go for the next phase activity. Which phases? In SDLC already we discussed about the phases which are the requirements collection, the requirements analysis, design, coding, testing. So 100 requirements are there means no? First all the 100 requirements, once you correct all the complete requirements, 100 requirements you collected from the client, then they have to go for the analysis. But all the 100 requirements analysis completed, then they go for the design. After design, all the 100 requirements, then they go for the coding. After coding, they go for the testing, like this. Okay. Cascading effect also same, one after one it is. Okay. Name is there for this model. One phase completed, then on next phase. That is a cascading effect from one phase to another phase. Okay. Waterfall model, also called as a linear sequential waterfall model. It is the oldest model. The early stage when they start in development applications, we have the first model is waterfall model, oldest model it is. Name is derived for this model due to cascading effect from one phase to another phase. In this model, application developed in sequential approach, like one phase activities are completed for whole system, then only we start next phase activities to develop application, which contains all the SDLC phases. How the diagrammatical this waterfall model? Sima here. First we have the requirements collection. After requirements collection, next we have to go for the requirements analysis. After requirements analysis, we have to go for the design. After design, we can go for the coding. After coding, we can go for the testing. After testing, we can go for the release and maintenance. Requirements collection, after the requirements analysis, after analysis design, after design coding, after coding testing, then release and maintenance. So if you observe the diagram here, how water falls on down steps, in that process the flow is going to be in this waterfall model. There is a linear sequential waterfall model. As you know that water falls on down steps in one direction, downwards only, upward is not possible. There's a one of the drawback here. There is no feedback mechanism between the phases because it won't go for the upward here. So due to the reason, early stage significant defects are not possible. If any mistakes are there here, those are not possible to identify because we have the later stage of testing. But whenever we have the later stage of testing, the disadvantage is, so early stages side effect defects always will take the less cost. to resolve those defects compared to later stages identified defects, right? This one also I explained during the common problems in SDLC session. I explained these things, right? Next, another disadvantage. Now we are in the testing phase. Now customers send any change request, some change in the requirements. So again, we need to go for here and we need to start here. That means it is not possible to go for the upward. There's a reason this model is not suitable to handle the any dynamic changes while developing application. Okay, this is about the waterfall model. Then what kind of projects we are going to prefer this type of waterfall model? This model is preferable for small projects which have the clear requirements. Okay, this model is preferable for small projects which have the clear requirements and a routine type of projects. That means a well-known infrastructure application. That means you developed one application for the Yashoda hospital. Now you want to develop the similar type of application for another client. You know very well infrastructure application. So when we know very well infrastructure application, there is less possibility of the mistakes. We can go for the waterfall model. This model is preferable for small projects which have the clear requirements and a routine type of projects. That is well-known infrastructure application. Advantage of this waterfall model, it is simple and easy to develop the small projects. Disadvantages in this waterfall model, early stages identifying defects are not possible due to later stage of testing. So early stage not possible because we have later stage of testing. And also this model is not suitable to handle dynamic changes in requirements because it won't go for the upward again. You are in the middle means. Now the drawbacks we have. Okay, in this waterfall model, it is simple waterfall model how it is going to be. So diagram is important for you. You understand requirements collection, requirements analysis, design, coding, testing, release, and maintenance. Okay. So how water falls on down steps. If you observe that, same flow it is. Okay. Next one is important one, V model. V stands for here verification and validation. There's a reason V model also called a verification and validation model. Verification and validation model. V stands for verification validation. So what kind of projects we are going to prefer this type of V model? Before agile methodology, more popular one is V model. Most of the projects we develop under V model. This model is suitable for large scale companies, which companies want to maintain simultaneously development activities as well as testing activities. Those companies are going to prefer this kind of fee model. That is this model is suitable for large scale companies to maintain testing process simultaneously with development process. This model defines coexistence relation between development to testing activities. This model defines coexistence relation between development to testing activities. What is the meaning of that? With respect to development activities, simultaneously what kind of testing activities are required, it is going to be defined. Okay, and also the major advantage of this V model, how much importance they are given for the development activities, same importance given for the testing activities also. That is the next point I given. In this model, they provided same weightage for testing activities with respect to development activities. Then what kind of projects we are going to prefer? In general, this V model is preferable for the big projects which have the clear requirements. Requirements should be clear, but big project. Waterfall model, small projects, we can go for the waterfall model, but big projects. So then in this approach, V model also application development sequential approach. Waterfall model also sequential approach I told. Here also sequential approach. Developing sequential approach. That means sequential approach means one phase activities are completed for a whole system, then we go for the next phase activities. Okay, but where is the difference? Waterfall model to the V model. We discussed one disadvantage in the waterfall model. What is that? Early stages identified defects are not possible due to later stage of testing. But here what I'm saying that, so testing activities in this V model, testing activities will start early stages with the development activities. Early stages with development activities. Okay, there's a difference. Both are similarities, both are sequential approach. But difference waterfall model to the V model. In waterfall model, testing activities are going to later stages. But in V model, testing activities will start early stages with development activities. Okay, not unit, the meaning here unit testing, integration testing. What kind of testing activities means? Earlier I said review on the requirement documents. Whenever FRS document is prepared, so they have to go and do the review on that FRS document before going to the design to confirm is it correct or not. That's what the thing they have to do here. Testing activities are going to start early stages with development activities. The meeting point in V model is coding. Which meeting point it is? Let us see my diagram. We'll get an idea what is meeting point in V model is coding. I said. Now here it is like this. First requirements collection. After requirements collection, they go for the requirements analysis. Diagram is like this: requirements collection after the requirements analysis. Once the requirements analysis completed, before going to the design, they should go for the review on requirement documents. So in order to confirm all the business needs are covered or not in that requirements. Is the specified requirements are correct or not in FRS? Is it understandable or not? Is it reliable or not? These are the points they need to consider during the review on the requirement documents. This we are going to call checklist. We are going to call. So everything is covered or not? Given information is correct or not? Is it understandable to the others or not? Is it practically possible and to implement? Such a way, the review is going to be done on the requirement documents. It's not test engineer job. Someone has to go and do the review here. Okay, not test engineer. To identify the mistakes, the requirements is not your responsibility. That's the reason someone has domain expert can go and do the review here. Same way, once requirements analysis completed, next design. But in this V model, design is divided into the two levels. One is high level design, the other one is low level design. High level design, low level design. Now here, once the design is completed, before going to the review, before going to the coding on based on design, they should go for the again review on the design documents. Again, they go for the review on design documents. So here, once the review is complete, same points, all the requirements are covered or not in the design documents. Design is correct or not. Design is understandable or not. Design is reliable or not to go for coding. These are the points they are going to consider during the review on design documents. Once it is completed, then they go for the coding. So here, once coding is done, next unit testing. After unit testing, they go for the integration testing. After integration testing, they do system testing. After system testing, they do user acceptance testing. After system testing, they do user acceptance testing. Whereas to perform unit and integration testing, they use white box testing techniques. To perform system testing, we use black box testing techniques. White box testing, black box testing. It is not integrated unit testing, not comes under white box testing. My head saying that which techniques are going to be used to do unit testing, integration testing means white box testing techniques are used. Similar way, to perform system testing, they use black box testing techniques. Okay. Now, who is responsible to do the system testing? Test engineers. Which document they are going to refer? Okay, you got the system, okay, in this sequence. Okay, but so which document are you going to refer to do the system testing means FRS document. So that means here, which phase FRS document is going to prepare, requirements analysis phase. That means whenever FRS document is prepared, one copy is going to be taken by the testing team. They start working on the test cases preparation, scenarios identification. Once you got the application, straight away we go for the testing that application as per our test cases. Similar way, so to do integration testing, reference documents are high-level design document. So to do unit testing, reference documents are low-level design documents. Same way, acceptance testing purpose, reference documents are BRS. Okay, but here, whichever activities are going to perform before going to the coding, in order to check the documents which you prepared, those are correct or not. This kind of activity where we are going to call a verification activity. It is called verification activity. Similar way, whichever activities are performed after coding, those kind of activities we call as validation activities. Okay. There is a where these terminologies are coming. Verification, validation is from the V model. Verification means here it is a process to check are we developing the system right or not. Verification is a process to check are we developing the system right or not. So generally, the verification activities are performed on requirement documents, design documents, on source code also they can do. Verification comes under static testing approach. Similar way, after coding, we are doing some testing activities. This all comes under validation activities are going to call. What is meaning of validation? It is a process to check are we developed right system or not. It is a process to check are we developed right system or not. So where we do on application source code we can do, as well as an application front end we can do this kind of activities, right? Front end we can do this kind of activities. Now here, but common thing here on source code we can do the verification activities as well as validation activities. Both activities we can do. There is a reason meeting point in V model means coding we are saying. So which meeting point means that is verification, and the validation meeting point is coding. Okay. What are the different kind of testing levels are there in this V model? We have the unit testing, integration testing, system testing, user acceptance testing. So the different kind of testing levels are there in this V model. So, but here disadvantage is there in the V model. This model also not suitable to handle rapid dynamic changes. So minimal changes going to accept, but more changes are there while developing application means more frequent changes are there. This model is not suitable because it is also sequential approach. Okay. So minimal changes only to go and accept. More dynamic changes are there. This model is not suitable. Okay. Next session, I am going to explain to you static testing, dynamic testing. Okay. So verification, validation. Who will go and perform the verification? Who will go and perform the validation? What kind of techniques are there? These things we are going to discuss. Okay. So if you need material, study material, you can send the mail to this mail ID, madhukarqait@gmail.com. YouTube channel, subscribe this one, Madhukar QAIT. So I'm going to provide the all the software testing related videos I'm going to publish here. So you can get the information from here. Website madhukarqait.com. This is the website which I have. Okay, here also you can find some material. Okay. Okay. Thank you. See you in the next session.